since we've been doing this, and we did AGMT last year, we did Britain's Got Marketing Talent back in London, and then running it again this year, it's been incredible to see the success of our community, to see what these guys have been able to achieve. I think the overarching thing that kind of falls on me every time I watch these guys, and I'm very blessed in the fact that I get to support these guys over the last month and a half as we've prepped for this, and I remember doing it with Todd and Beth last year, doing it with these guys this year as well, is just to see their success, but not so much just the success, but their commitment, their ambition, and their execution in being able to do this. And very privileged in the fact that I'm now going to be able to welcome all five to the stage and kind of just talk a little bit about that, talk about what it's meant for them inside of this community, the success they've had, and how they've been able to achieve that. So if you can all give a massive, massive welcome to our five America's Got Marketing Talent finalists: Jen Penrose, Ida Hurst, Ken Cheng, Jason Han, and Justin Badian. Welcome all. Welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's amazing to see you all on this stage. It genuinely is. And like I said, I've worked with you guys over the last month and a half as we've prepped for this and gone through the presentations and the videos and everything. So, Jen, I'll get kick-started with you. Just quickly recap for the guys that maybe didn't quite hear your story yesterday. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, what you do.
One clinic in Lacey, Washington, and we're hybrid, so insurance, Medicare concierge, and region services. And if you missed it, Medicare concierge and region services basically is all my profit and saved my practice.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Justin?
We're a out-of-network cash clinic in White Plains, New York. We have a staff of 6. We do also do Shockwave, Instant Pod, and yeah, that's our practice.
Amazing. Come on, Ken. It's like speed dating this.
Yeah. Short and sweet. Yes, Ken Chang, clinic owner in South Jersey for 11 years. Had a pretty successful business the first 5. The following 4, we struggled to scale after insurance reimbursements plummeted. Literally overnight. Struggled for 3.5, 4 years to scale beyond myself. In the trenches for, treating 30, 40 hours like patients a week. Came home at 8, 9 o'clock every night and literally sat naked looking at Facebook ads. Waiting for the shower to warm up and saw the PG ad, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy a silver ticket of a guy in the trenches, in the 9 to 5, and don't have freedom, and went to Jersey City as a silver ticket member and signed on with Luke that night, and the rest is history. Changed my life.
Ada?
Ida, I'm from Pleasanton, California, and in practice for a long time, started in '89, so it's 36 years now. We hit a bottom, we lost $40,000 without me being on payroll before, and I realized I was going to close. Found Paul Gough, started making the transition out of insurance, and we are we're concierge and cash, except for the military insurance. We've kept those in a way to give back. And happy to say that we are profitable again, able to give my wonderful physical therapist a raise, and paying myself. So.
Last but not least.
Did you say you were naked? I was born naked. Jason Han, I have a cash-based practice in Pasadena, which is near Los Angeles. I started off as a sole practitioner and kind of moved my way along over the years. I've been with Paul almost 10 years now. So solo practice, and now I have a multidisciplinary team, 16 members, and doing well.
I'll start with you then, Jason. So you asked the question yesterday in your presentation, what do you want? And I suppose when was the moment that it all clicked for you? that you knew you had to do something different?
It all depends on like the different phases in your life, I would say. In our first Wealth CEO earlier this year, Paul and Greg challenged us to envision what you actually wanted life to look like. And first of all, envision what that life is, but also you need to work backwards and what kind of money do you need to make, or what kind of wealth do you need to build in order to fulfill that life? And so that was, as far as the past year, that was a big point for us. And I alluded to it in the presentation of, we were in, the first CEO meeting was literally a week and a half after the fires hit us in LA, where we had to shut down. One of my team members lost her home, and you have two choices in life. You can either feel sorry for yourself, or you can actually do something about it. And when I always say control the controllables, that was something I needed to do. Regardless of what was happening, I needed to control me. So going to that meeting, being around such amazing business owners and having that guidance, that was one of the key moments for me this year. And it is a testament to this community, the coaching, and to allow me to have that mindset to just keep going. And I would say that's my moment for this year.
Yeah. You said there's something I thought was quite interesting about envisaging it as you as a business owner. People sat in the room right now who've watched your story yesterday and heard about the success, and people have seen you in CEO and what you've been able to achieve. How do you start to envisage that? How do you kind of get through that mental block, I suppose, if there is one?
There's mental blocks every day. And I would say, yes, you need your personal resilience, but we can't do it alone. And there's so many amazing business owners in this group that I get to lean on, because a lot of our concerns you don't really share with your staff, because they don't understand. They're not in the same boat as you. They don't feel the pressure. I remember going back into COVID 2020, and I physically was getting sick because I had to furlough my staff. Like, how many people had that moment? And it was because we take the responsibility that we're putting food on our employees' tables. They get paid regardless. It's a totally different mentality. So it's this community which allows us to stay on course, because each and every one of us has gone through those hard points, and we're able to lift each other up. So it's reliance on this community to kind of keep me going all the time.
Amazing, amazing. Ken, I'm going to come to you next, and I don't know if you've got the microphone turned on now. Just a quick one for you, though. What were you struggling with most before it all clicked? So you came into the community just over a year ago now. What were you struggling with most before it clicked into action? So again, these guys have just seen your results over the last 12 months. What was it exactly that you were struggling with? Was it something personal? Was it something in the business before it all clicked for you?
What I struggle with most?
Mm-hmm.
I was great at getting clientele. My language was great. The worst was being able to fill another provider's schedule. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have systems for marketing. We were just making it by, like having another employee that, they don't see the momentum because you're the one carrying the whole weight of the practice. But then they're trying, you're trying to build them up, and you're trying to get them up to par as well. Being able to do that while treating was impossible. So I think it's just the support from the team and the coaches with the sales and objection handling, hearing it multiple times every other week, every single week, until they got good at it, finally clicked and got momentum. And then now we can add another team member, which we just did confidently.
And what kind of difference have you seen in your own, I suppose, journey as a husband, as a father, business owner?
Yeah, certainly anxious, nervous before, never knew when our next lead or client came. And now, like, God, I was fearful of putting $1,000 marketing dollars 9 months ago, year ago. Now I'm like, hey, let's do 2 and let's do 3, maybe 10. You know, like, it's kind of cool how you put in the wood and it gives you, you know, the product and the heat back. So just confidence going forward is that we can grow. So, and then being able to lean on the whole coaching staff here, like, you know, like even with you guys going through so much to put this event on, and you still have time to spend a half hour with me to understand my financials and cockpit, like, it's you guys just go over and above. So, yeah, it's you guys.
Appreciate it. One final question for you on this, right? Because I know where you started from, and I remember that conversation in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Asking, can we just go and make some fucking money?
Yeah.
Where do you think you'd be had you not have took that next step? You took the action, the commitment.
Yeah, you know, I was already part of 2 other masterminds. They taught us workshops. They taught us how to throw one on, but just the support behind it was just never near the same. So yeah, I'd still be struggling. You know, we did workshops at affiliates, places, yoga studios, Pilates studios, but they never the results. And you know, and the expert status that we are at this point in our community as well is just blowing our practice up, at least in recognition and, you know, and moving confidently to the next office, hopefully early next year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Ida, I'm going to come to you next. And I want to come to you next predominantly because I remember, I think maybe 3 years ago, was it, that you joined? 3 years, maybe 4 years? Was it? I can't remember, was it the original PPM that you came to?
I came to the Austin Powers PPM. That was my first.
Yeah.
I had just recently joined, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So tell us a little bit about your journey then over that last 3 years. What's the biggest difference, I suppose, you've seen in yourself as a business owner since you took that step?
So, you know, I thought I was going to have to start again from zero, right? I thought I would need to close and just be me again. And I really wasn't interested in that at this stage of my career. But our office is the income for our whole family. So, you know, that was a big drive to figure out how we were going to make ends meet. So your question was how I see myself different as a business owner now. I've been there where I was hardly treating, raised my kids, and was just CEO. So I haven't quite got back into that complete seat yet, but I'm ready for it and ready to see, you know, other people leading out while I just can give advice and encourage other people along the way, which is, as everybody's mentioned, is something so special about the Gough community.
So what's the biggest shift in your market in that, I suppose, the accountability inside of this group's given you? You talk a lot about that journey that you've been on over the last few years and your transition from insurance to cash.
Okay.
What's the biggest thing the group's given you on that accountability level to be able to achieve it?
So there's I've worked with other companies, and there wasn't very much flexibility also in how they supported us in marketing. So with it can be almost overwhelming because we can promote really anything we want, but it's helpful to have a team that just talks with you, like with the Physio Funnels team. What is it that you want to promote? You know, we want to promote our pool right now, or I want to promote a workshop right now, or I purchased Shockwave and EMTT. I know people don't buy Shockwave, but they buy getting better. You know, so a lot of education with that within the team. And so our ads and our email campaigns and that kind of thing, they can speak to whatever audience we're trying to speak to. And if I have a therapist that is really good with something, I can pick that out and really promote that. When we did our anniversary party, you know, we were able to attract people to come for a free foot screening with our orthotic lab. And, people booked out more than we could do during that event, so that trickled into a whole lot of discovery visits going forward. So there's just a lot of flexibility and a lot of creativity that can go into it. I don't have the skills to do it, but the team here puts it together for me, and so that's huge when you're trying to get out of insurance.
Absolutely. So what does the next 12 months look like? You just said there.
What is the
next 12 months?
12 months.
You just said there you're stepping back into the CEO role and really getting into those shoes.
So everybody's in my group is tired of hearing about, but I need to hire now. I'm trying not to take any new patients on my schedule because I went to more than full time for a little while we were trying to get our head above water. So my therapist scheduled are full. I'm trying to back mine out, but I keep letting people in because they need a visit. So I'm eager to hire another physical therapist that can let me completely step back again.
So anyone in Ida's progress group, you've just heard, by the way, we're going to hold her accountable to hiring.
They're trying to help me.
Yeah, and reducing your clinic, getting that
You
down.
know all about that too.
Absolutely. Justin, I'm going to come to you next, sir. So you were a little bit hesitant to join at first, weren't you?
Of course.
If I remember rightly.
It took me a year
Las
or so.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Las Vegas. You
Yes.
think I remember you walking out going, I'm not doing this.
No, and then you guys convinced me after a couple months, but no.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say maybe change your mind next time and just jump?
I still think about it at times, but I'm slow to act sometimes, but I've gotten better. It's one thing that this Paul Gough community has taught me to just make decisions first and make it right later, so.
Yeah. How's it kind of changed how you think, how you act?
I think the biggest thing, the transformation for me is, hey, not thinking about it too much and just implementing it, and being part of my CEO group just, it held me accountable more so, and held me accountable to act quickly where, hey, we make a goal for the quarter and I better come back in 3 months and make it happen or else. But yeah, just being able to act quickly and I just not thinking about it and just listening to what other people say and listening to what other businesses that have done and just being like, hey, it worked for them. It's going to definitely work for you. So.
Yeah. You make it sound slightly aggressive sometimes, these CEO sessions.
My first one was rough. My first group was great, but it got me to where I am today and absolutely love them. But it was rough at first. Where's Berman? Where's Jake? But no, it was good. It was great. It got me to where I am today.
Yeah. What's the biggest shift you made in your marketing then over the last 12, 18 months?
I think it's just being consistent with all the different marketing channels, right? Like, hey, not sticking just to one where like, hey, we get 20 from Google, we get a bunch from Facebook, we're doing our workshops, and then being out in the community and just how are we hitting all the marketing channels and being able to get leads from all those marketing channels, and then me having time to work on that, right? I think the biggest hard part was me treating 40, 50 hours a week and not even having time to look at our Facebook or look at our Instagram. So being consistent with all the channels and being realistic of like, hey, posting once a week or twice a week for me right now, that's all I can do. But yeah, being consistent with all the channels and being like, hey, how can I hit it all and make time in my schedule out of the office to be able to focus on that.
So obviously I'm aware of your story, but how do you do that in terms of making time to be able to do it?
So one of the biggest transformations I made was, hey, our clinic is only 1,000 square foot, so I didn't have a specific office. And instead of expanding, I ended up renting a co-working space. And being at the co-working space has truly, for the past year and a half, has truly been transformational. Me getting out of the office, not being distracted by staff or other patients or friends, and just dialing in a full 2 days out of the office, which is only like a mile down the road, but just being really plugged into being there and being focused there has truly been transformational to focus on my marketing, focus on other big high-level tasks.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say to Justin of 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, if we came up to you again and said, do you want to join this community? Do you want to be a part of this journey and this path that was already created for you?
I may have joined a little quicker, but yes, definitely. I wouldn't have been where I am today if it wasn't for you guys and it wasn't for my CEO group and stuff like that.
Amazing. Jen? So talk to me, you obviously went on a big journey over the last 12 to 18 months, bringing Medicare concierge in, you did Shockwave. Talk to me about the mindset that it takes to make that leap, that jump, to get to that stage where, like you said, I think you said this yesterday, you know there's something different that you've got to do, but quite often there's probably a little bit of a mental block in there, a challenge, whether it's, am I making the right decision, with a team behind you as well. How do you kind of get through that?
I just knew that I wasn't going to survive if I didn't do something different. And that pre-day conference on PPM Live 2023, it was very apparent that I just needed to move forward regardless of all my fears, all my doubts, all my what ifs, all my, what other choice do I have? Am I just gonna pack it up after all these years and be done? Like, that didn't seem like an answer. So I'd rather go ahead and step out in faith and courage and do Medicare concierge and figure it out. And I knew from the history of being in this group, I'm like, they've got my back. Like, this community has my back, and they did. Mastermind, the progress group calls, and then, talking to various members in the group. And then on top of that, my team, I have some very loyal people with me, Tiana and Nicole. They've been through some heartache with me. And when you have at least a few key people in your wheelhouse, you basically just have to lean on that. So you just had to step out in faith and know that this community had your back and your own team has your back.
I remember when we'd done some coaching at the time, and obviously there was a recruitment crisis or a hiring crisis, however you want to put that. Maybe a little bit of lack of staff when you were doing all this. Again, how does something like this, a community, or these guys on this stage, like, just keep you moving forward? Because in those moments, it must be so easy to just pull back and say, screw this, throw everything in the air and say, I'm done with this. Like, how do you keep moving forward with these guys?
When you hear other people's hard stories, it's not that, that saying, misery loves company, but when you can see other people have gone through some stuff and they made it on the other side, it does push you to be like, you can do this too. If they can get through that, you can get through this. And you can call them. I can call Todd and, be encouraged. I can call Stephanie and she can make me laugh even if I'm pulling my hair out. Everyone's here for you. So I think that really, knowing that people have your back, you can get through anything.
Yeah. And how's it changed you personally? I always think that's a great question. Again, it's why I love asking the question, but like from a personal standpoint, because there's inner demons that you have to fight when you go home at night, when your team aren't there, or even the progress groups aren't there, or the coaching, like you get all the things, but then for you to keep just kicking forward, keep moving forward. How's it, I suppose, like I said, change your life, change your impact as a parent?
I have more self-belief now than I've ever had. So I think it just has built like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm going to figure it out. With my team, with this community, I'm going to figure it out. We're going to do it. And I'll correct it in play. And we've already had to correct our first launch of the Medicare concierge and had to get my attorney involved again and yada, yada. And anyway, but you just start to build that self-belief is been there, done that, I'll figure it out. Like at the end of the day, with this community and my team, we're gonna do it. Yeah.
You took a obnoxious amount of time away from the business last year, didn't you?
It's a good time.
To be fair, you were challenged on this stage, but I think it was by Emma, wasn't it? It was like the first person to take a month away from the business. Yeah.
Someone challenged me, and I'm like, sign me up, I'll do it.
I think you did it.
And I even did it when I didn't have the full team yet, by the way, because it was December of 2024, and I made all those hires in January. Now they had signed on and I knew they were coming, but I was like, at Christmas time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. See you guys later. They were fine.
They were. They were fantastic, to be fair. So next year, how long are you taking off? Where are we going?
We got Mexico in December, Italy in April. Apparently I'm coming here in February for the...
Yep.
So maybe I'll figure out how to stay longer than just the workshop and play some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, more fun to be had.
Yeah. What supports that though, right? Obviously, all jokes aside of taking that time off, what's going to be the next big thing then for you in terms of, so you've done Medicare concierge, you've done the shockwave. Is it another marketing string that we're going to put on the bow, or is it another product or service? What's the goal?
I really want to be known as the longevity clinic in town, and so looking at partnerships with providers that can do the biologics. So those kind of strategy calls and communications are happening, and so that's what I want to, what we'd like to be known for, and how can we move into that area.
Yeah, fantastic. Last question, I'm going to come down the line here, this one. You guys have all been on an incredible journey, like genuinely, hand on heart, it's an absolute privilege to watch you all on the stage and share this story and work with you guys. But for someone potentially who is at the back of the room, right, and is sat there thinking, well, of course you guys can do it. Of course you guys have do it. You've made 2 million this year, you're at 1 million, you've made 500,000. Like, how do I even get started? What would you say to them?
Like I said yesterday, just kill the what ifs and act. And the only certainty you really have is that you will figure it out with your team and with this community. And if you've got grit and you bring that to the community, you're unstoppable. So I don't know how many of you have heard of Angela Duckworth, who's a top psychologist. If you've watched her TED Talk, if you haven't, go ahead and Google it. But she said the #1 predictor to success is grit. So you bring the grit, and the rest of us have your back, and you won't fail.
Beautiful. Go ahead, Justin.
I think for me, it's just getting around ambitious business owners. I think it's important to have great winners in your circle and have them to reach out to and just have them to consistently motivate you. I think that's huge. And I think just how you said, grit, right? I think be willing to just do the hard thing and just consistently not waver and just keep pushing.
What was the question?
Sorry.
Were you listening, Ken? Really? Just dazing away, weren't you, over there? Just like, wonder what's for lunch. Are the IRS going to call? I was saying there that you guys have all had a fantastic journey over the last couple of 12, 18 months. And it must be quite easy, people sitting there at the back of the room, for example, will sit there and go, well, it's okay for you. You've made an extra 200,000 this year. Of course it's good for you, Ken. What would you say to someone with that little bit of self-doubt in there of going, well, how do they push forward? How do they keep moving forward?
Ooh, okay, I think you said this before. Being in debt and not being able to pay your mortgage definitely will get you off your ass and do things that you wouldn't before. But being nervous about something and then changing that energy and reframing that mindset and say, you know what, I'm going to be excited instead. I'm going to go ahead and use that energy. And so I don't know if it's out of fear, but apparently you said it's the same chemicals, right? So just use that feeling and take action instead of freezing up and just being sorry for yourself.
Good point, by the way. It's the emotions of it. Nerves and excitement are both the exact same emotions and display themselves in the exact same way. Palms go sweaty, hands get a little bit shaky, everything kind of goes a little bit jittery inside. The reality is how you choose to handle that emotion, how you choose to react to it when it's trying to tell you something. Is it go time or is it pull back time? And ultimately, I think that'll determine your success as a business owner. And Ken's a great example of that. Ken's a fantastic example of that, of when you do go forward. Ida?
Well, I'll kind of piggyback on that. It's scary, right? When you're used to insurance, used to work, and you hear all those stories that people aren't going to come. So the fear thing can just stop you in your tracks. And then tag onto Jen's thing is just grit. You decide, I'm going to do it. And the fear, you could just pull back, say, I'm not going to do anything. But really, is that getting you anywhere? Where if you're just stopping right there? So When I don't want to do it, that usually means I need to do it. So I just have to push. And then I'm grateful for my team because they kept saying, okay, when are we dropping Blue Cross? When are we dropping Blue Cross? What's the date, you know? And so I had to put a date, and that meant in 90 days we were out. And so anyway, that fear, just push into it, like the others are saying.
Jason?
Like I said yesterday, it's figure out what you want. I think that's first. But also, we talked a lot about self-confidence yesterday, and you have to understand that you're worth it. Because if you don't, you know, what's going to be driving you? And Paul brought up something a few weeks ago on Mastermind, where if you feel you're going to get to that destination without any problems, you're in freaking la la land. But he phrased it, I don't know if it's exactly like this, but problems worth fighting for. If you have this goal, are you willing to tackle those challenges that are worth fighting for to get this? So hopefully that's a little kick in the butt if you want to move forward with this amazing group.
Can I jump in? Yeah,
Welcome
well
back
done,
to the
everybody.
stage.
Thank you. Well done, everybody. I put out a post this morning on my Instagram. I was in the Uber coming into the hotel about 9:30 this morning. And I shared a post of my kids getting into the Ecto 1 last night. And I referenced in the social media post that to see my kids' eyes last night when they realized that they could get in the Ecto 1, right, and probably show all of their friends next week on Halloween who are all dressed up as Ghostbusters, and Stay Puft will be kind of all around the estate in celebration next week. My kids will probably show their friends pictures of them sat in the movie that all of their friends will be watching, in the car that is in the movie all of their friends will be watching. And I said on the post, if all I ever had to do was go away and learn marketing and cash flow and KPIs and become a little bit of a better leader for that to happen, I'll do that all day, every day. That was priceless for me last night, that I got to watch my kids and their eyes light up when the guy said to them, do you want to get in the car? And the reality is that moment happened. And it's back to what I said yesterday. That moment happened because I made a decision 10 years ago to be the best business owner that I could be. And I'll tell every single one of you, I'll tell 1 billion people, business will eat you up and spit you out if you take it for granted. If you're an amateur business owner, it will destroy you. If you are an unskilled business owner trying to run a business, it will destroy you. Like there's no other word. 96% of businesses are broke within 10 years. That is a statistical fact in the United States. 80% are broke within 5 years, and 96% give up after 10 years. They're not there. The facts tell you that business is tough. But what I always remind people of, it's tough because 96% of them do not learn how to run a business. And they try to do it alone. They convince themselves from day one that they know better, their service is better, they are better, that their shit stinks better than everybody else's. Essentially, they're bulletproof because they've got the best recipe when it comes to the hamburgers or the milkshakes, or they've got the best treatment techniques as a PT. They tell themselves this story all day, every day, and they just can't work out why the business is struggling and it's failing. And I'll tell you why it's failing, because they're trying to do it on their own. And they're trying to do it with PT skills that doesn't give them any chance of managing cash flow or KPIs or understanding marketing or whatever it will be. So when I watched my kids' eyes last night get into that car and those lights and the sirens started going off, I got into bed last night and I thought to myself, every ounce of the brain damage that I've been through to learn marketing, to get on these flights, to understand cash flow, to put myself in the uncomfortable situations, I'm living the life I'm living today, but it's fucking earned, every single piece of it. And there might be a touch of arrogance in me, right? There could be, but it's fucking earned. Every single piece of it is earned. I'm from a small little town in a little economically challenged part of the northeast of England. We weren't poor. I'm not going to give you the sob story, but my story is not supposed to come out of my little town, put it that way. But it came out of my little town because something inside of me said, Paul, I think you're capable of a bit more. I don't know what that is yet, but let's start the journey. Let's start learning real business skills, and let's stop listening to people who are poor in business tell you that things can't be done, that you can't live that American dream of yours, Paul. So if you want to bring yourself into that story, whether it's kids or not, find your version of that. I went to bed last night thinking my kids got in an Ecto 1. What dad brings a fucking Ecto 1 to work? Right? In my kids' eyes, I mean, I was probably already the coolest shit dad in the world, right? Everybody's. But I was definitely the coolest dad in the world last night. And how I got that Ecto 1 to arrive out there was because I studied marketing. I studied how to sell. I understood, I didn't even have a clue what cash flow forecasting KPIs were for a long time, right? It was just like, let's just get clients, right? Let's just market. But something inside me had the courage to go and get it, much like these guys. They had the courage to make decisions, whether it was to step out a network, to join a community, to do something, to make their life easier and significantly enhance the chance of success. And that's what this community does. Yes, we're going to teach you marketing skills. If you want the big business and the successful business, you need business skills. You wanted to be a PT, you needed PT skills. You want to run a business on your own, good luck. It will not work, and I'd look every one of you in the eye and tell you, you will lose. You can't do it. When those situations arise and the shit hits the fan, which inevitably it does, on Tuesday or Wednesday in the middle of February on a cold, dark, damp, horrible fucking day in your town, literally, who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Insurance busters, right? Who are you going to call? Seriously, I actually didn't even mean to bring that pun in. It just fitted, right? Who are you going to call on Tuesday night at 7:30 when the shit's hit the fan in your office? Medicare won't pay you, staff members quit, clients have complained about your prices, and you go home at night. Seriously, in all honesty, does your wife or husband understand anything about what you just had to deal with? Right? And I'll ask you an even better question. Do you want them to understand what you're dealing with? Because I fucking don't. The idea that I'm going home on a night at 7:30 and offloading my shit to Natalie and my kids is just not happening. But what I might do is pick up the phone on the way home from work to somebody in one of the communities that I'm in and sound off to them. So that when I arrive through the door at 7:30, Daddy, how was your day? Amazing. That's the phrase. Amazing. Was there any shit at work? Yes. How was your day? Amazing. How do you feel, Daddy? Amazing. How was your day, Grayson? That's more important. The community for me and the masterminds that I've been involved in, that's what they've done for me. It's who you're going to call on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock when you're all alone. That's what I want every one of you to think about. Those of you who have been with us a while, never forget that that's what you're part of. You will never run a business on your own. And those of you who are not part of this community, I hope you do, by Sunday, see the value in it. Ask yourself that question. How do you build a business on your own? How do you possibly make this work trying to figure this shit out on your own? Nobody is capable of doing it. The isolation is real. If you leave here on Sunday, and I'm speaking to our guests, if you leave here on Sunday without joining this program, we can't help you. You're back on your own. Every single person in here has got the humility to go, I can't do it on my own. All different circumstances, by the way. We've got some 2-pack and some biggie up here. We've got East Coast, West Coast challenges. We've got all sorts of different stories about why their problem is worse than everybody else's. The biggest problem that we've all got is that we try to figure shit out on our own. The most successful businesses and the business owners at the helm have one thing in common. They're humble as shit, and that's what you're seeing in every one of these. The humility to stand on this stage and go, I didn't know, I asked. I was frightened, but I did it anyway. I promise you I've been in masterminds all over the world. I'm well past 7 figures in personal development investments. That picture from 10 years ago was the start of the journey. I was probably paying $40,000, $50,000 in 2012 for mastermind advice. I've been in all of the rooms, and what you find is the best ones are the most humble, the most beautiful souls. They ask their way out of problems. And they've equally got a level of assurance that they're going to figure it out even though they don't know the answers. Your life will be managing, I don't know the answers, but I'm cocky enough and arrogant enough to go, but I'm going to make it work anyway. And if I can keep, and here's the magic for you, if I can keep focus in the middle of that worry, but that assurance, and I can stay focused in the middle, there's an inevitability to success. I don't know the answers. There's my little weakness. There's my little lack of self-belief. Something kicks in and goes, let's ask my way out of it. And as long as I stay focused on the goal, that is your formula for success. Over to you, Luke.
Just want to say, amazing. Absolutely, all 5 of you, absolutely incredible. Like I said, to be in such a privileged position to see your journeys over the last 12 months and watch us go, and what you've been able to achieve and inside of this community. I think not only just yourselves, but the way that you give back as well to the community and every one of you. It's incredible to be able to share the stage with you also.
I'm going to wrap it up, right? And Luke, by the way, is tremendous. Another one. Can I have a round of applause for Luke? Amy got one yesterday. We've got something right now in this community. Every one of the vendors is saying this is different. This community is different. There's something different about this community. And I've felt it over the last 6 to 12 months. This community is on the way absolutely to another stratosphere. The number of people who are coming up to me telling me about the best year ever, the best month ever, their lives have changed, they're happier at home, they've got better relationships with wives, they're seeing their kids more, they feel better about themselves. There's an undeniable feel in this room right now in this community. We're absolutely on our way to another level as a group and a community, and I hope you can all feel that and are part of it, by the way. And this is what you guys are at the front of. So I honestly, I take my hat off to you. I admire you. I thank you for getting up last night and sharing your story and putting yourself out there. I know Ada, you had a few worries about getting on. Didn't she look amazing, by the way, last night on stage? I walked in and watched her, and I thought she was an absolute natural. But that's my point. The worries that I'm not good enough, but then the confidence that I'm going to be all right. And as long as I stay focused, that's what you watched in Ida, in all of these guys. I don't think I'm going to be good enough, but I'll do it anyway. Staying focused. They're the people who are winning. Well done. Fantastic.
Hey, this is Paul Gough. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for even more, be sure to head over to Amazon and you can find my 7 best-selling books for physical therapists in private practice. Head over to Amazon and find me now.